And today is the
Mm-hmm.
session 5 of trauma informed support for children. It's been an amazing journey from the day session 1 to session 4. I bet you need to go watch the video because it's been very impactful and informative. And where can you get the video? You'll find the video on our social handles, specifically on Facebook, Live Trace on Facebook. Just search up Live Trace on Facebook and Live Trace on YouTube. All the videos, all the contents are up there for you to watch. But you know what? You're going to take a step further
Mm-hmm.
by inviting someone to watch this video because a lot of people are hurting, and pain, we can't ignore it, we can't deny it. We are gonna go through pain because even our Lord Jesus Christ talked about pain, and he said something to encourage us: be of good cheer, I have overcome
Overcome.
the world.
Mm-hmm.
The way to be of good cheer is to encourage ourselves and to believe that your healing journey begins with you. It's to come and talk it out while we pray together, while we share hearts together, and learn from someone that has been through what you're going through now, and then learning from their experience and their success story. Are you ready for this next session? Session 5 with our guest. It's been amazing to know Constance Murdock, very impactful. She's a mentor, a role model, a coach, and a trainer. And for this past 4 weeks now, it's been an amazing session with her. Just 30-minute session, and the next will be question and answer, and
Mm-hmm.
then comments, and then the sharing testimony. With me is Kemi Oyeyola,
Of
and the
course.
next phase you're gonna be seeing will be
Constance.
Constance Murdock. See you in the Zoom group. All right, Auntie Constance,
Take it over.
take it over. It's been an
Okay,
amazing time.
okay, thank you very much for that introduction. Yeah, so last week, was it 2 weeks ago, we did some work on trauma-informed support for children, and we talked about what trauma is not. We talked about the difference between power over and power with, tools and the skills that build the resiliency. We talked about the resiliency in childhood. We talked about the ecological approach to resiliency, and we also discussed protective factors and risk factors and protective factors that promote resiliency to childhood trauma. So today we're going to go just a little bit deeper in regards to the power over versus the power with, just so that when you hear that phrase, you'll notice that I give you a list, an arrow of the terms power over and power with. So to help you understand it a little bit more, so that you know that when it's impacting you in a way where there's a little bit conflict, maybe in a relationship, a conflict maybe in a place of work or wherever that place may be. And what it really means is just that one person that's making the choice and it's impacting the other person. So we call that power over, when that person is taking control of that person. So when you think about power with, it's all of us together making a choice that affects us all. And so we call that power with. So, for example, if we are going to make a decision in terms of um, our children doing things, uh, we have that power over, because we make that choice for them, because at that time they're smaller, they're little, so yeah, they're going to have to learn on their own. So for the time being, we're going to be teaching them by having that power over them until they learn how to do things on their own. by then you're learning them how to do things. So then all you have to do is just direct them. And so now they'll do it on their own. So you're giving them that choice together. So now it becomes power with. So you're empowering them, right? So that's what power over and power with is about. And then when you move on, the power with and the power over, well, what does that have to do with the trauma-informed practice? Well, it's what it does. It brings participation. It brings engagement with the families and the youth that we work with. We build that knowledge, and we train them, with the expectancy that these families that are receiving services, it becomes something that they're going to be working towards together. It becomes educational because they're going to use their story and build these skills into their practice when you begin to work with families that have trauma. So by sharing this power, we are engaging them. We're giving them that knowledge. We're giving them that that education about how things can be done, not how things should be, but how they can be done. I don't really like using that word should, because it gives you a sense of judgment. So I like to say can or will, or using a different term so that we're not being judgmental on how things can be shared. So it's important to place that level of understanding of the power differences, because when we begin working on healing relationships, this is where we don't want to have that power struggle with one another. We want to share that power so that we empower those that we work with to make the right decisions that are going to help them heal. So when we do that, when we do power with, we are teaching them, we're walking with them together on their road of healing. So by doing that, we also have their what word am I looking for? Their acceptance of help. Because if you use power over, it becomes conflictual. You don't develop a relationship with the ones that you're working with, depending on who it is. Even your own children, for example, we can have a relationship with them, but if we continue to engage in power over or having authority over them all the time, it's always going to lead to building walls or barriers to that relationship. So we want to have a relationship with them where we can share that power with them and teach them how things can be done. And I always think about that phrase, you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. You teach a man to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. So that kind of gives you an example of what power with does for people. You're giving that ability to move forward with you beside them, giving them that strength and that power to move forward in the relationship. So it's important to remember that, and that how that sharing that power with those that you work with, whether even in a place of work, you know, we as we're human beings, right? We have feelings, and of course we're going to dig in our heels if someone is constantly telling us, well, you should do this, you should do that. Or, you know, we dig in our heels, and you know, this is where the conflict begins. So we have to develop a relationship and begin to engage them by not telling them, but showing them, teaching them how to do this together, rather than just one person telling everybody. But this way, sharing of the power is giving everybody that opportunity to work together as a team. And that this even goes to in terms of your home life, your family, and the ones that are, even the ones that have been through trauma. You can walk through that with them without giving them, without making them feel re-traumatized, because you're empowering them, you're sharing your power with them, so you're strengthening them in that way when you have shared power in a trauma-informed practice. So I think we kind of touched on a little bit of all these, but not all of them. You know, how is it important to share this power? Well, like I said, it enhances the participation of those that you're working with. Like I said, sometimes, you know, as individuals, we don't like being told what to do, right? It's sometimes it becomes it'll become a power struggle when you're told what you should do. But I would rather work in a capacity where someone respects my decision, someone respects my knowledge, someone respects my experience or my intellect, by providing support and providing that information that I need to make proper decisions. So developing that participation by being there for the family members, and you know, being present with them, and letting them know that you're there to share your power with them, so that you know that it would help them grow and heal and move forward in a healthy way, and rather than have to always engage in conflict or you know, re-traumatizing them again, but letting them know that you're present with them. And then even the combined expertise, as like for myself, I'm a mental health therapist, and I do provide services, but I'm not how would I say it? I'm not an expert in all things, but I can still provide that training for the clients that I work with, giving them that knowledge by kind of sharing a little bit about my life, but not to the point where I'm going to compromise a client-provider relationship, but just letting them know that there's others out there who have been on the same journey. There are others out there that have lived experiences and have been able to go through and survive. So, and then as parents, parents also, when I put on my parent hat, just because I'm a parent and I have adult children, that doesn't really make me an expert. I still have to learn from others that have went on before me, who are now living with adult children. See, that's something I'm still learning how to do. So with combined expertise of an elder and myself would make it a better environment or learning environment for that relationship to get stronger. So by sharing that power with others, you're enabling them to stay focused. And you always hear that phrase, two heads are better than one. So it's always good to have someone there to walk with you through that time, so that you'll be able to understand what it is that you need to do next. So when you think about that, that combined expertise, like I said, we need to start focusing on not just on the learning process, but it's not about making them be compliant. I always find that in a system, teachers are trained to do things in a certain way, and they have reasons for that. But then there, on the other side of the coin, we also need to learn that we need to learn that it's the families that that require us to help them, to give them skills, tools to develop these skills, to not only focus on what's happening, but not on the bad behavior or the behavior that's being presented, but okay, what can we do to help them learn to do something, do differently? So we need to learn how to do that, and this is where the sharing of the power comes into play, so that we can not be an enforcer, but be a coach, giving them the skills to do things differently, to improve on certain things that they need to work on, whatever those things may be. Even in our jobs, we can. I'd rather be a coach than I would a leader, because it depends on what it is that you're leading. Because I don't want to. I'd like to focus on how to do things that is going to be effective and make the team effective, and that goes for the same thing in a relationship, in your home and in your children's lives. You know, we need to learn. We need to focus on the learning. I always tell tell students when I'm working with them, and they're going through when they go through a hard time, and then I always say, well, what have you learned from this? What can we do differently next time? So it's not focusing on the non-compliant behavior, but it's focusing on what it is they need to learn. What is the teachable moment at that time? And then also the communication. I always talk about honest communication between anybody. It doesn't matter who it is. I would say communication is very, very important when you get into a relationship. For example, I have this young, they're just teenagers, and you know, teenagers go through their learning curves of how to relate to one another, you know, with their differences in their opinions, differences in their lifestyle, differences in their upbringing. So there's a lot of things, you know, that go on, and they have a hard time with communicating. So that's a thing that I find that I always talk to this young teenage couple. I would say, you know what, they always come in and they say, well, you know, he was lying to me, and you know, he was doing this and he was doing that, and then so then he would come in and tell me the same thing. And so I would sit them both down and I would talk to them, you know, about what a healthy relationship looks like. And I always talk to them about, you know, this is important for you to communicate. I said, because of how you see things and how she sees things are two different things. So your perspectives are not going to meet halfway because they're different. I said, so you have to communicate with one another on how that needs to look for others. And because it becomes what word am I looking for? It becomes a point where when there's no trust between two people, there is going to be that breakdown. It's the same thing with people who have been traumatized. They're going to have to, we have to learn how to communicate so that they begin to trust you. And it's the same thing with any individual. It doesn't matter if it's a child, an adult, and a couple in the workplace. We have to have that honest communication in order for things to work out. And I always tell kids, I don't have all the answers, but we can certainly work out these answers together. And we said we can look for them together. because I don't have all the answers and I probably never will, but we can certainly search it out together. And this is what these sessions are all about. We're learning together. We're searching out the answers together. I'm not the expert in this, but at least we are together. I consider myself a coach, just giving you the skills to do and help those that have been experiencing trauma. So when you think about that, we think about how, as adults, or like, for example, I'm a mom, right? And there are expectations that I have for my children, and sometimes our like, say for example, my son, he always tells me things, and sometimes as a parent I don't want to hear the truth, but as an adult I need to hear the truth. And so I acknowledge that and I respect that, and I say, you know what, thank you for sharing your truth. I said, I will take that in consideration, and that's good that you told me that, because I would never have seen it that way. So it's a mutual agreement that we have for one another when we begin working with one another, when we have that power with perspective in a trauma-informed perspective, right? So we begin to bring that, when we bring that to the table, it brings that mutual trust towards one another. So consider that when you're working with people who have been exposed to trauma or experiencing trauma, or who are living through trauma, is just to be very open, communicative, and build that trust through that avenue. Is communication is key. I always say communicate, communicate, communicate. I always that's my thing. And as a mom and a wife and a mentor and a therapist, I always have to have that back in my mind. Communicate. And sometimes I forget, because I'm a human, right? I always say, oh yeah, I forgot. Like, I better communicate better. I better make sure it's clear. Or if I want clarification, I make sure I let them know, well, just for clarification purposes, is this what you mean? So that way I'm not assuming that they're saying something different, right? And so by sharing this trauma, this power with process with others, we also increase our compassion, satisfaction, because what it does is it counteracts the compassionate fatigue, that stress that comes with it. So when we begin to share this power with those that have experienced trauma, we're no longer fatigued. We're no longer getting tired of helping those that have experienced trauma. I want to share a story with my brother. He is battling kidney disease, lung disease, and anxiety, and we're getting tired of, like, we're getting stressed, like we're getting compassion fatigue is what I see happening with our family members, because we're all taking turns trying to help him, trying to support him. Now his wife is tired and she's getting burnt out, and and their sons have their own families and they're getting tired. So this kind of helps me, because the way I see it, we're living in a trauma experience because of what we are faced with, what we're dealing with. And so when we begin sharing this power with my brother and his family, so that we don't get burnt out, it eases the impact that it's having on us, so that we're carrying it together, that we're no longer getting burnt out because of the things that we're trying to do to help my brother. So that's something that I know we're learning as we go along with this. So just having said that, just keep him in prayer. I'm going to move on to the next slide, which is I think again I touched a little bit on this side as well. How does it come up trauma-informed care? Well, it gives us a sense of empowerment. You know, it helps us feel responsible for the success that we see happening. You know, by identifying their own power and their self-determination, and that's what I'm seeing when I go back to the story about my brother. You know, he's we need to see that through our trauma-informed lens, that he's identifying what he can do for himself and what he can determine what the outcome of his care is going to look like. So that kind of helps us have that ability to not control what's happening, but to feel that he's been empowered through what we recognize as and not enabling, but giving him the ability to do what's happening. And then also the mastery and the independence of the family, you know, and having that shared decision making within the safety of our partnership, our families, you know, that have experienced trauma, that we need to increase that ability for them to master that power with, so that they can help not overcome it, but to have that improve the outcomes of their trauma that they're experiencing at that time. So it also fosters a sense of confidence in the family's ability to recognize the quality of service that is being provided, or if needed in the future. So it kind of gives us that ability to do that. And then also it helps us endure the change. You know, when we lived an experience, it counts as a source of expertise. So having to go through this, it like you said in the beginning, it's when you share your experience, it gives us the ability to share with others, so that they know what we've been through, that they also can go through it with the support and help of others that are around them. So it's also important to remember that you know, we have as partners, we have that ability to help people grow, help people change, help people be successful in life, even after trauma. That's possible, and I'm a living example of that. You know, I could have lived in the past and stayed there, but I chose not to. I had to walk through that road. I had to walk through that journey, but I wasn't able to do it without the strength of God in my life. That's the thing. That's the difference that it made for me, because I would have been stuck there, and I would have probably been probably addicted to alcohol, drugs, who knows where and what would have been stuck in. But I see a lot of people stuck in their trauma, in their past, and you know, my heart goes out to them. I got so much compassion seeing them in that state, when I know there is hope if they would just reach out and reach out to the hand that is reaching back to them, so that they can help them through that, you know. And for me, that was that's the key. Like, I had to if I seen a helping hand, when you're in a trauma mindset, you just look at that hand. You don't try and reach back for it, because you just want to stay where you're at, because you don't know how else to do it. So I think what helped me is when I seen I had to open my eyes to a different kind of life that I wanted for myself and for my children. And what that took was my grandma passing on, and knowing that she wasn't there anymore. Her hand was no longer available through prayer, through being present. when I realized that she was no longer going to be there with me to help me walk through what I've been through, I realized, okay, I said I need to go and do things differently. So I had to reach out and let God do the rest. And that's what it took for me to walk out of that trauma. But it took many, many years, and I'm still going through it. There's still triggers, but I've learned to use healthy coping skills to keep me going. And those things will always be there. Those memories will always be there, but it's no longer, it no longer takes me to a freezing point. I no longer, whenever you're traumatized, you go through a fight, flight, or freeze mode, because your brain is triggered by that trauma that has happened in the past. But that no longer happens for me because I'm able to deal with it in a way that it no longer impacts me in that way, where I either I'm fighting someone, or I'm running away from the problem, or I'm just froze there. That no longer happens to me because I'm able to plug into resources that are available to me, whether that be an elder, whether that be a pastor, whether that be a friend who's that I can talk to, who's not going to judge me. So those kind of things that help me grow as a individual, and at a professional level. Now I'm there where I can now support others that are going through the same thing and share that power with them so that they can also be healed. And there's just a little slide, a little thing I wanted to show you about the survivor empowerment starts when we learn. And this is our outcome that we'd like to see through these sessions. Is we want people to be survivors. We want people to begin to be impacted by what is being shared and how it impacts us in different ways. So when you look at these slides, it helps you connect to your inner voice. It helps you use your voice. It helps you to be empowered to do things differently. Because like I said in the past sessions, that whenever we're traumatized, it affects our brain. It affects how we feel and how we react to things. So that when we are learning about how to survive, then we're learning how to reverse those changes and the impact that it had on us previously. Like I said, it no longer impacts me the way that it did before, because I've learned how to deal with it. And I've learned that over the years, not only through education, but because I was also through therapies, and I still go once in a while just to maintain that healthy lifestyle and make sure that, that whenever I'm triggered or whenever something happens, that I have that go-to person to go and help me process it and to deal with it. And knowing that when I look at myself, I don't look at myself as a broken person anymore. I don't look at myself that that I do things differently, or I act like I'm that there's something wrong with me mentally. Because if you knew me before the way I was, where I am today, my husband would tell you that I acted like I was like really out of control, because I didn't know how to do anything differently because of the trauma that I experienced. So I no longer act like that, because I've learned how to accept the things that have happened, that I'm no longer in bondage to that. So I can move on from that. And so this is kind of what this little slide is about. So I had to learn to use my voice. I wasn't able to speak for myself because of the fear of talking about things, or the shame and the just reliving that experience takes you back to a place where I was in a mindset as a victim again, and I didn't want to be there anymore. So I had to use my voice and bring myself out of that, and knowing that I was able to grow through that. So I just wanted to share this little slide with you, and so that you would have it, and as a visual that you can go and look at it later on. And it also has a website where you can go and look up more information on these kind of things, if you want to learn a little bit more on that. And the next one is just a reminder of the principles for being informed. Just letting us know that we need to continue to promote that awareness. We need to continue to shift our attitudes and foster that safety. And we talked a little bit about that in the past, about how we need to have more training in this area. We need to have more dialogue on how we need to help one another, and to always look at everybody with empathy, and compassion, and just giving them that sense of safety is very important, and giving them that opportunity for making choices. That's where power with comes into play. And just looking at helping them build up on their resiliency, and helping them understand and connect and build on those strengths is very, very important. And there's next slide I'm going to show you. And all it is oh, excuse me. This one here is looking through soft eyes. Has anybody ever heard of that? Looking through soft eyes? Never. Okay, so we were doing this. We were at this conference, and this elder shared with the people that the presenter asked her, well, what would you do in this situation when you're dealing with children who are difficult? And this was her phrase, was, you look at them through soft eyes. And at first I didn't understand what that meant. And what that meant is look at them with an open heart and with an open mind. Look at them without judging them, and helping them connect to something, and to be present with them when something arises. So I thought that was something that I wanted to share with you, as maybe moving forward, when you know that someone is going through something, is when that they've been triggered, or they've been going through a hard time, and they're talking about it, and even your children, if they're acting out, okay, what's going on, what happened, just kind of just being open-minded and look at them with soft eyes. Okay, so that's just something another thing that I wanted to share with you, Sunny. I wanted to go back. Oh, what happened? I didn't want to shop.
I guess you went through the.
Oh, there we go. Oh, that was the last slide. Okay, so anyway, I'm just going to leave it at that. The last one is just a resource list that I wanted to share with you, so that you know where this information is coming from, and let you know that that is something that we can take into consideration. Is we need to start looking at how we need to look at one another, and when we want to help them. So anyway, that is my presentation. And if you have any questions, I'm going to stop sharing my screen because it's not going back to where I wanted to go.
Okay.
But if anybody has any questions, or if they want to have anything to share, you're more than welcome to do so. I just wanted to leave this with you. I know we have a few more sessions to do. The last one is going to kind of look over what do we need to do to take care of ourselves at the end of the day. Okay, so with that, I just want to say thank you, Sam and Cami, And I really appreciate this opportunity to share and give back to the community. And I want to say thank you.
We want to say thank you to you, for making yourself available and coming to share your experience. And we are learning from your wealth of experience. And we know that you have been such a blessing to people around you, to myself, and to everybody that's going to be watching this video later on in the future. Thank you so much. And for everybody that is on the platform, we want to say thank you for joining us. And for people that will be watching this video later on, we say thank you. And one thing that we just need from you is for you to help us kind of share this video, right? Like I always say, you never know who is in need of this thing. We've been talking about a trauma-informed care, how we can be of help to people that have been traumatized, or maybe even you've been traumatized and, maybe you're not even aware of it and it's kind of affecting you somehow. But, you can just go through the series of video that the presentation that she has done from day one. I'm sure it's going to be of help to you, right? And just kind of share it with people out there, especially during this time. The season of Christmas is a season of that we kind of share the joy of Jesus. And how can we share Jesus with people? Something like this can be of a blessing to people around us, right? Just remember one thing, that you are not alone. And like one of the slides that she put there, that where did I even put it? Step into your power, step into your voice. Like she said one of the session, that the healing journey begins with you. It begins with you. It begins with you. Okay, so don't feel that you cannot do it. Don't feel that, oh no, I've reached the end of the tunnel and I cannot go forward. You can do it. Step into your power. Step into that voice, right? Just gather momentum. We need to encourage ourselves, and that is why we're here. That is why we need people around us to kind of, when we're down, we need someone else to kind of bring us up. And that is what Constance is doing here. She has gone through the experience, and she is kind of pouring out from what she's been through, right? And so you can do it. You can do it. You got this. You just need to step out. You just need to use your voice. You just need to use your power. If you need help, don't be shy. Don't hesitate to kind of ask for help. Reach out to someone, people that you trust, people that you trust in them. They've been through it. People they can be of help to you in one way or the other. Don't be shy to kind of step forward and hone it and say, no, I got this. I can do it. I can get out of this trauma that has been weighing me down all these years. I can do it. And the grace of God, it's also there for you. The grace of God is available for you. She said she couldn't have done it without the grace of God. At times we cannot even do it without Him. But, it's there for you. It's available for you. All you have to do is just speak into it, believe into it, hone it, and start living it.
Yeah, I really thank you for sharing that, and also thank you, Constance Murdock. It's been an amazing time. Like you said, let's make our voice. Use your voice. Use your voice. Within my community, there are so many people going through so much pain, and even new immigrants who thought that they just change from where you used to have, a hot weather, and then now all of a sudden you find yourself. That can also traumatize. That can also traumatize. And in one way to encourage new immigrants also is to share our success story like you have done with us. Let's share our success story. You know what? We've been through this. You can come of it. Over time you will get rid of it. I know we can't get rid of winter, but over time we can get rid of it. So, and the same way, students international students who've come here to school also have been traumatized in so many ways, with a lot of barriers. And the only way we can encourage one another is to use that power, like Constance said, and like Kemi has also mentioned, to use that power that's within you. You have it in you. So we can overemphasize that. we have that power within us to to step out and then to fight it through, and we can. We are able to do that. Yeah.
Amen. Yes.
Cool. Thank you for everyone that's joining. Does anyone have any comments or any question for Constance? Yeah, thank you, Basamadu. Thank you, my prof, Dr. Kule.
Oh,
Thank
it's
you,
been a
Auntie
while.
Mercy. It's been a while.
Busy, busy.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, man. It's been a wonderful time today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And we're gonna post the video for so many people that maybe you kind of join us late, and the video
The
is gonna
video
be
is
there.
up. Yeah. And if you have a comment, if you have an experience you want to share, please do not hesitate. Unmute yourself and let's hear it. If you have a child at home that's going through and stuff like that, and how you are able to handle it, please. I love what Constance said. She said we are learning together. You know, when you're talking to your children, you're also learning from your children. We're not being judgmental because there are things they learn. So we learn from them as well, and we're learning together. They have different attributes, they have different behaviors, they have different temperaments from previous presentation that our guest has presented. This is session 5 with Constance Murdock. So in the next 2 weeks, we're going on section 6 on trauma informed care for children. This is a learning process. We are all learning together. And we're going to help us sharing this content out with the family, friends, home and abroad, and relatives within your network, and see you can help someone out. This is the only way this is how you can help someone come out of to learn how to be free from trauma. Those who've been going through it, to learn how to be free from trauma, learning from experience. Thank you so much. Thank you again and again. So then I would want to encourage you that please keep living the best that you can, and keep impacting your world in the better way you know how to do it. Keep doing it. Don't stop. Keep moving. Keep moving. Keep moving. One step at a time, we can make the world a better place. A family, a better place. Each home, a better place. God bless. See you in the next 2 weeks. It's Sam
And
and
Kemi
Kenny.
signing out.
Bye bye.
God bless.